Hello and welcome to Synergy Bonus. I'm Spoony Paladin, and we're going to be doing a player one sort of a conversation today. I'm going to be talking about a role-playing game, one of my favorite role-playing games for the PlayStation. It was my first non-square RPG. The RPGs I played up to this time were basically Final Fantasy IV, Final Fantasy VI, Final Fantasy VII, and I think 8 might have come on out at this time too. But today I'm going to be talking to you about Grandia. Grandia is an RPG that was released in the PlayStation, or actually it was released in the Sega Saturn in 1997, and it came to the PlayStation in 1999, and that was the first US release of it. Nowadays you can find it on the PS1 Classic Store. It's a 3D 2D style game, meaning the maps are 3D and the sprites are 2D, and you have control of the camera 360 degrees. This game, being the time frame that it came out with, has FMV cutscenes and CG cutscenes, and it features I don't know how you'd say this, probably a rotational party, meaning you'll have characters that come and go, and your end party will always be the same end party. You don't get to pick and choose like in other RPGs. Characters in this game learn attacks by repeated use. So the more you use a weapon on someone, the better the skill increases. The more you use magic, the more the magic levels up. So it works out very well. Monsters in Grandia appear on the field. Depending on how they hit you or how you hit them determines your actions in combat. More like whether if you've been ambushed or you have a preemptive strike on them. And it's always beneficial to hit them from behind for that preemptive strike. The battle has a battle track, which, like I've said before on previous episodes, I'm a fan of the battle track. Shows you when everyone's turn's coming up. And in this game, one of the abilities you can do aside from normal attack is a critical hit. And if you score a critical hit, you can push the enemy back down on the action track and eventually cancel out the attacks as they're about to come off. It works well. It works nice. I cannot complain at all. It is turn-based, and I think that works out well for most RPGs. I'm a big fan of turn-based versus action. The story in Grandia focuses around a young boy named Justin. Justin is an aspiring adventurer, and the game actually opens in the town of Parm, which is like a seaside town. And they're playing a game of basically search for these legendary items, which is like a pan lid and a stick. And it's like, oh, this is the spirit sword. Oh, this is the legendary shield. Because Justin really wants to meet an adventurer, because his father was an adventurer, and his father vanished years ago, and his mother, Lily, is really worried that Justin's going to follow in his footsteps. Now, his father left behind an item, a spirit stone, and Justin is just a romanticist. He insists that there's still great adventures, still new land to be found, even though the end of the world has been found. Literally, the end of the world is a giant wall that no one has scaled because it is so huge. And, you can kind of see where this is going with him. The world itself it's fantasy and it's technology. Fantasy elements are ancient civilization. They had these items and whatnot, and that's actually what's increased the technology in the universe. There's a militaristic group called the Garlisle Forces who are actually exploring these archaeological ruins of this ancient civilization to further their military might. As you would probably guess, Justin, being the adventurer that he wants to be, actually he gets invited to go explore these ruins on his nearest hometown, and he gets a letter. And he goes to the ruins, and basically, letter shredded, you're not coming in here and whatnot. So he sneaks in with his best friend, Sue, eluding the Garlisle forces. And as he goes through these ruins, he ends up running to a room that has a hologram of this girl named Liette. And she tells him that, you need to continue eastward in search of this place called Alent. And the rest is kind of history there. Justin sets out. He leaves his town of Parm on a boat and goes to this new town called New Parm. And Sue ends up stowing away on this ship, and they have to work off their debt for passage. And when he gets to this new land, he meets a young woman named Fina. Now, Fina is a seasoned adventurer. She's also your mage-type character, and eventually Justin's romantic interest. Just between Justin, Sue, and Fina, those are the main characters. There's a few more characters. There's Rap and Gadwin and Guido, I believe. I can't remember. And they're there. They're important, but not as important as these characters. Now, the Garlisle forces, the main members of the Garlisle forces are General Ball and his son, Mullen. And now, the first officer is Mullen's love interest, which is Commander Lean. And a little spoiler alert here, Lean and Fina are related. That gets brought up later on, and it's a big point of contention since they're on two opposing factions. Now, there's some other Garlisle members, namely this trio of women who just fawn over Mullen, Nana, Saki, and Mio. They're interesting characters, kinda. Sometimes they're a little bit annoying. But, it's that comic relief. This is a JRPG. The music in this game is absolutely fantastic. One of the composers actually worked on the Lunar series, and the theme of Grandia was composed in one night just by looking at the cover art to the game. And it's a beautiful, haunting soundtrack in areas. And other areas, it's very upbeat. There's, I would say, lyrics, I guess, to certain tracks. It's good. It's very good. It's one of my favorite soundtracks. I can't give this game enough praise. Grandia has it's spawned several sequels: Grandia 2, Grandia Extreme, and Grandia 3. I've played a little of each, but Grandia 1 still is my favorite, and one of the reasons that this game shines for me is character development, and the character development can come from your little downtime. Like, you'll go to an inn, or you'll have dinner, or whatnot, and you'll have little cursor options on other characters to talk to further the dialogue, or further the relationships, and learn more about the character's interests and what's going on in the world, and it's wonderful. And this story really is a coming-of-age story for Justin, and by the time the credits roll and whatnot, it's a fantastic experience. And there's a little stinger at the end of the game where time's passed so many years, and an older Sue says she can't wait to see everyone and whatnot. And it's just a charming, charming scene. You can see Justin's gotten really busy. And yeah, I would give this rating a 4.9. It's out of 5. 4.9 out of 5. It is phenomenal. And I would recommend it to anyone who's a fan of RPGs, who just likes that adventure aspect, and if you like turn-based stuff, this is a good game. And if you've played it, I would love to know. If you haven't played it, are you interested in playing it? What are your expectations? And I think with that, good night and good gaming. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked that video, why not check out one of our other ones? Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like if you enjoyed it. Until then, we'll see you next time.